Hello, this is Phil Hinton. Welcome back to another video on AVForums. This time we're going to look at the LG G5 and the best settings out of the box for SDR, HDR10 and Dolby Vision. So the first thing that we're going to do is long press the settings button, the cogwheel on your remote control. Just keep it pressed for about 3 seconds and then let go. It brings you up onto this menu here. Now before we set the picture settings, there's a few things that we need to do straight away. I've reset this TV, factory reset the TV. This is how it will appear out of the box once you power it on for the first time. So the first thing that we're going to go to is General. And then we're going to go to AI Service. And we're going to go all the way down here to AI Recommendation. And we're going to click in here. And we're going to turn off Smart Tips. And we're also going to turn off Smart Tips in Settings if it's set as well. These are pop-ups that get in the way and we don't really want them around. And then we're going to come out of AI Service and then we're going to come all the way down here to System and we're going to click on that. And then we're going to go to Additional Settings and then Home Settings. Why are we going here? Well, Home Promotion, this is WebOS. It shows adverts out of the box that you don't want. The first sort of third of the top of the page in WebOS 25 is an advert. Plus there are other adverts scattered around on the pages of WebOS. To switch that off, we switch this off and then we also switch off content recommendations. You can keep that on if you want, if you find it useful. I don't find it useful. I'm going to switch that off at that point there as well. And we're going to come out of the settings here, back to the general menu. And then we're going to go all the way down to the bottom, energy saving. This is the most important of them all because what you want is the best possible picture. If you've paid £2,000-3,000 for your LG G5 or your M5, then you need to go in here and make sure that this is set to off. You'll get the warning here. We'll click OK. And as you can see, the screen suddenly got a little bit brighter there. I'm just going to adjust the camera just so you can still see what's going on. The reason for that, energy saving, it changes the brightness on the fly of the screen. By switching it off, you're getting the true performance from the TV in that respect. So we're going to go all the way back to the general menu. Now this one is a bit controversial. If you are in any way concerned about screen retention, image retention or screen burn, don't go in here. If you're not, and what you're going to do is watch a lot of mixed content from TV and film and sports and so on, and you don't game on the TV for any length of time, like I don't, and you're also going to use these settings in terms of filmmaker mode, which reduces the brightness but gives you more detail in return, then you're perfectly fine doing this and going in here. So logo brightness, we're going to go in and I will switch that off. Again, if you're concerned in any way over screen retention, leave these switched on. And screen move, I'm going to switch that off as well. And then that way I'm getting pixel for pixel in terms of resolution by doing that. If you leave it on, what it does is it moves the screen around by 1 pixel every now and again to combat any image retention. Again, if you're concerned, leave these switched on. I tend to switch them off, but then I'm not using really bright settings or have static images on the TV for any length of time. So we're going to come back out to the general menu here. And there's nothing else that we need to really take care of in here. That's the main things done. So at this point, we can now go to picture. What we're going to do here is not show you any calibrated settings. To calibrate a TV, you need expensive meters, you need a pattern generator of some description, and you're working to a standard. Each TV is different, each video chain is different, and really when you calibrate a TV, you're calibrating the whole video chain, you're not just calibrating the picture. What we are going to use is the filmmaker mode, and this is factory calibrated to get the panel as close as possible to being as accurate as possible out of the box, so you don't need to calibrate the screen in any way. Before we do that, we're going to go into aspect ratio here. We're going to change this to original, and then we're going to come out of here and go to just scan, and we're going to set just scan on, so we're not having any overscan of the image, and we're getting the original resolution of the image there. Right, so select mode. We're going to click on this and we're going to go to filmmaker mode. We're going to click OK, and then This is important if you are in a room where the brightness changes on a regular basis. You know, you've got a bright room and then you're watching in the dark as well. So if we go to brightness, now you can adjust the OLED pixel brightness, but you would have to go into the TV on each occasion to do that, at night to turn it down, during the day to turn it up. Thankfully, we have filmmaker mode ambient. Now this uses the light sensor on the TV, so if we switch this on, if you're in a dark room, it does absolutely nothing. You're getting the image as it should be seen. If you're watching in a bright room, what it does is it will adjust the brightness of the screen to match that of the room, so you're not losing any shadow detail or any other detail in the image, but it's still to the creator's intent. And that's all we need to do for standard dynamic range SDR content. We're going to cover HDR next. So we're now feeding the TV an HDR signal, and you know that you're doing that. Once again, just holding the cogwheel on the remote in for a few seconds and it brings up this menu. It will tell you HDR select mode. So you know that you are in HDR. I'm feeding the TV an HDR10 signal. You'll find that HDR content on Amazon, Disney+, different services if you're subscribed to the level of tier where you get HDR content, or HDR from a 4K Blu-ray disc. So what we're going to do here, well, we've set the aspect ratio, we also set the power settings and everything right at the start of this video. So the only thing we need to do here, you guessed it, is go in here and change it to filmmaker mode. We're going to come out here quickly, advanced settings, and again, depending on the room that you're in, as if it's always a dark room, you don't need to change anything, but if your room does get bright during the day and dark at night, we're going to switch on the ambient light sensor for filmmaker mode, and then it's going to change the brightness of the TV depending on the brightness of the room. And it does this by retaining as much of the creator's intent as possible. So we're going to leave that on. That's everything that we need to do for HDR10 or HLG content. You know you're in that and you're feeding the TV the right content, because this is the menu you get and it says HDR there. Next, we're going to do Dolby Vision. So once again, we're going to hold the cogwheel on the remote control for 3 seconds and bring up this menu here. So we're now watching Dolby Vision content. You need to watch Dolby Vision content to see this menu. You know you're watching Dolby Vision because it will say in the menu Dolby Vision select mode. Again, we've set everything that we need to set other than the picture mode for Dolby Vision. So if we click on this, guess what? We're going to filmmaker mode. And guess what else we're going to do? Yes, you guessed it. We're going to go to advanced settings. We're going to go to brightness. We're going to go all the way down to filmmaker mode ambient. I already told you why we switched that on, but we're going to switch that on. And then that's it. That's you set up for your LG G5 or M5 or your C5 TVs. It's exactly the same for all these models. I hope you found this useful. I hope the video has been useful. If it has, then please do like. If you are watching lots of our content but you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, can I just ask you to click that subscribe button? It means an awful lot to us, and it also really helps our channel get the attention it needs to get, and obviously it helps us produce this content. Thank you again for watching. Really do appreciate your support, and we'll see you in the next one.